Today, we will be discussing about evaluating messages and/or images of different types of different cultures. So, what is multimodal literacy? Multimodal literacy is about understanding the different ways of knowledge representations and meaning making. It focuses on the design of discourse, by investigating the contributions of specific semiotic resources, language, gesture, images, co-deployed across various modalities, visual, oral, somatic. It also deals with the interaction and integration in constructing a coherent multimodal text such as advertisements, posters, news report, websites, and films. Multimodal is the dynamic convergence of two or more communication modes within the same text and where all modes are tended to as part of meaning making. Most of the texts that we use are multimodal, including picture books, text books, graphic novels, films, e-posters, web pages, and oral storytelling, as they require different modes to be used to make meaning. Many texts are multimodal, where meaning is communicated through combinations of two or more modes. Modes include written language, spoken language, and patterns of meaning that are visual, audio, gestural, and spatial. What is multimodal texts? Multimodal texts include picture books, text books, graphic novels, comics, and posters, where meaning is conveyed to the reader through varying combinations of visual, written language, and spatial modes. Multimodal texts can be paper-based, live, or digital. Paper-based multimodal texts include picture books, text books, graphic novels, comics, and posters. Live multimodal texts, for example, dance, performance, and oral storytelling, convey meaning through combinations of various modes, such as gestural, spatial, audio, and oral language. Digital multimodal texts include film, animation, slideshows, e-posters, digital stories, podcasts, and web pages that may include hyperlinks to external pronunciation guides or translations. We have 5 modes of meaning by New London Group. We can use 5 broad semiotic or meaning-making systems to talk about how we create meaning. Linguistic, visual, audio, gestural, and spatial. Multiliteracies is a pedagogical approach developed in 1994 by the New London Group, that aims to make classroom teaching more inclusive of cultural, linguistic, communicative, and technological diversity. They advocate this so that students will be better prepared for a successful life in a globalized world. Multiliteracies are related to multimodality, as many modes are encouraged to be used in different forms of expression. 3. In addition, different technologies and communication channels allow for different modes to be used by people in expressing themselves. Linguistic meaning concerns spoken and written language through use of vocabulary, generic structure, and grammar. It is conveyed through written language via handwriting, the printed page, and the screen, and it is also conveyed through spoken language via live or recorded speech and can be monologic or dialogic. Choices of words, phrases, and sentences are organized through linguistic grammar conventions, register, where language is varied according to context, and genre, knowledge of how a text type is organized, and staged to meet a specific purpose. Audio meaning concerns music, sound effects, noises, ambient noise, and silence, through use of volume, pitch and rhythm. It is conveyed through sounds, including choices of music representing different cultures, ambient sounds, noises, alerts, natural, unnatural sounds, and use of volume, beat, tempo, pitch, and rhythm. Lyrics in a song may also include multiple languages. Visual meaning concerns still and moving images through use of color, saliency, page layouts, vectors, viewpoint, screen formats, visual symbols, shot framing, subject distance and angle, camera movement, subject movement. It is conveyed through choices of visual resources, and includes both still image and moving images. Images may include diverse cultural connotations, symbolism, and portray different people, cultures, and practices. Gestural meaning concerns movement of body, hands and eyes, facial expression, demeanors, and body language, and use of rhythm, speed, stillness, and angles. It is conveyed through choices of body movement. It also includes use of rhythm, speed, stillness, and angles, including timing, frequency, ceremony, and ritual. Gestures and body language may have diverse cultural connotations. Spatial meaning concerns environmental spaces, and architectural spaces, and use of proximity, direction, layout, position of an organization of objects in space. It is conveyed through design of spaces, using choices of spatial resources including scale, proximity, boundaries, direction, layout, and organization of objects in the space. Space extends from design of the page in a book, a page in a graphic novel or comic, a web page on the screen, framing of shots in moving image, to the design of the room, architecture, streetscapes, and landscapes. We have 5 core concepts of media literacy. First, all media messages are constructed. The key behind this concept is figuring out who constructed the message, out of what materials and to what effect. Media texts are built just as buildings and highways are put together, a plan is made, the building blocks are gathered, and ordinary people get paid to do various jobs. Whether we are watching the nightly news, passing a billboard on the street, or reading a political campaign flyer, the media message we experience was written by someone, or probably many people. Images were captured and edited, and a creative team with many talents put it all together. Next is, media messages are constructed using a creative language with its own rules. Each form of communication has its own creative language. Scary music heightens fear, camera close-ups convey intimacy, big headlines signal significance. Understanding the grammar, syntax, and metaphor of media language helps us to be less susceptible to manipulation. It explores the format of a media message, and examines the way a message is constructed, the creative components that are used in putting it together, words, music, color, movement, camera angle, and many more. Third is, different people experience the same media message differently. Audiences play a role in interpreting media messages because each audience member brings to the message a unique set of life experiences. It is how do audiences interact with the media in their lives? Our bodies may not be moving, but in our heads, we are constantly trying to connect what we are hearing, seeing, or reading with everything else we know. This concept incorporates 2 important ideas. First, that our differences influence our various interpretations of media messages, and second, that our similarities create common understandings. Fourth is, media have embedded values and points of view. Because they are constructed, media messages carry a subtext of who and what is important, at least to the person or people creating the message. The choice of a character's age, gender or race, the selection of a setting, and the actions within the plot are just some of the ways that values become embedded in a television show, a movie, or an advertisement. In looking at the content of a media message, it is important to understand that there are no value-free media and never will be. All media carry subtle messages about who and what is important. Because all media messages are constructed, choices have to be made. These choices inevitably reflect the values, attitudes, and points of view of the ones doing the constructing. The decision about a character's age, gender, or race mixed in with the lifestyles, attitudes, and behaviors that are portrayed, the selection of a setting, and the actions and reactions in the plot are just some of the ways that values become embedded in a TV show, a movie, or an ad. Even the news has embedded values in the decisions made about what stories go first, how long they are, what kinds of pictures are chosen, and so on. What's significant about this concept is not that ideas and values are embedded in media messages, but that the values of mainstream media typically reinforce, and therefore, affirm, the existing social system. Lastly, most media messages are organized to gain profit and/or power. Much of the world's media were developed as money-making enterprises and continue to operate today as commercial businesses. The real purpose of the programs on television, or the articles in a magazine, is to create an audience, and put them in a receptive mood, so that the network or publisher can sell time or space to sponsors to advertise products. We look at the motive or purpose of a media message, and whether or how a message may have been influenced by money, ego, or ideology. To respond to a message appropriately, we need to be able to see beyond the basic content motives of informing, persuading, or entertaining. Examining the purpose of a message also uncovers issues of ownership, and the structure and influence of media institutions in society. By considering the core concepts behind every media message, you equip yourself with an ability to analyze and interpret a message, and to accept or reject its legitimacy.